And perhaps the most important thing is that this trait is not about being neurotic. And I don't know how many people have felt like they've been labeled that way in the past, but it is true that sensitive people, and this was a kind of important study for us and important for you to know about, is that sensitive people who've had a difficult childhood or a stressful life overall do have a vulnerability to depression and anxiety and shyness that isn't there in a sensitive person who's not had such an environment. So sensitivity is not basically about being anxious or depressed or shy at all. But it is true that there is a sort of a risk there for sensitive people that isn't for the non-sensitive person in the same type of environment. There isn't as much tendency for them to be anxious or depressed. It still exists. We're not the only ones who can feel that way, but it takes less to get us to that point. And it's important for you because if you are in that situation, you will probably benefit from help or psychotherapy, whatever you choose. And people may say to you, well, just get over it, or why are you still in therapy? Or, can't you just forget the past? And it's just not the same for a sensitive person. It's just not the same. And it's important for you to know that so that as in many other parts of your life, you can just claim, okay, I'm highly sensitive, I'm different, I don't need to listen to this. And the reason for this is kind of obvious, that if you're picking up on subtleties, then you're going to pick up on the subtle messages that whatever happened in your family, that people are not paying full attention to you, that they don't like you, that you should feel ashamed. And this is both family and at school, of course. But there's something terribly important to know about, too. And this is becoming more and more well documented by many different scientists. So this isn't just wishful thinking. And that is that sensitive people who've had a good enough or supportive, enriched environment growing up, they actually turn out more socially competent, happier, healthier, fewer injuries, all kinds of different outcomes that are actually better than the average population. Now, we don't want any swelled heads, as we say, or inflation. We don't want anyone walking out of here feeling superior to other people. But this is a very good antidote to the feeling that maybe we're not as good as other people in some way because we get so easily overwhelmed. Oh, why can't you do this or this? So yes, but this awareness of subtleties, this processing things more deeply, gives us advantages. And one interesting study involves because you couldn't do this with humans, they took rhesus monkeys who had this trait, 20%. You always called them uptight monkeys versus laid-back monkeys. But they took these uptight monkeys and gave them to mothers that were very skilled to raise. So they took them at birth and gave them to monkey mothers who were just skilled mothers. And when they grew up, they were the leaders of the troop of monkeys. I mean, they tended to almost always become leaders. So wouldn't it be nice if we could get all of our political leaders to be highly sensitive? Guess we have to be sure to give them to skilled mothers.